Amy Comey Barret, now known as ACB. So the left has AOC and the right has ACB. Okay. She's being grilled on Capitol Hill. Now, at least on Tuesday, she's being grilled over the substance of what she would do as an actual justice. Monday was a day of Democratic grandstanding, the misdefinition of court packing, and just absolute absurdity. Oh, and Kamala Harris thought she would just turn it into a campaign rally, since nobody actually shows up to the ones that she and Joe actually throw. A couple of days ago, while Joe Biden was in the state of Arizona, he was pressed by a reporter, and it is kind of nice to see reporters actually on a line with Joe Biden that they're pushing and pressing. And Biden doesn't like it. But the reporter was pressing him on, are you going to answer us about court packing?
Sir, I've got to ask you about packing the courts. And I know that You said yesterday you aren't going to answer the question until after the election. But this is the number one thing that I've been asked about from viewers in the past couple of days.
Well, you've been asked by the viewers who are probably Republicans who don't want me continuing to talk about what they're doing to the court right now.
Well, sir, don't the voters deserve to know where you stand?
No, they don't. I'm not going to play his game.
So the voters don't deserve to know. You don't need to know. And it was another insult at the so-called deplorables, the Trump voters, who make up more than half of the electorate. But you know, Joe's going to be the guy that, should he be elected, he's going to bring all Americans together. He's going to be the great unifier, as he refers to us as deplorables, as did Hillary Rotham Clinton, and the fact that we don't deserve to know. What does this remind you of?
But we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
Love him or hate him, disrespect him or think he is an incredible political genius, Donald Trump tells you exactly what he's thinking. You know, nobody ever reads a Donald Trump tweet and walks away, gee, I wonder how he feels about AOC. Gee, I wonder what he thinks of Hillary. Gee, I wonder what he thinks of Maxine Waters. Nobody thinks that. Donald Trump just kind of puts it all out there. What you see is what you get. Like it, lump it, hit the road, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you agree with him. Can he at least get some respect that he will tell you exactly what he's thinking? He won't hold it back from you, and he will answer a direct question. He told us ahead of time the kind of justices he would put up were he to be elected president. And he has made good on that promise. Said he would build a wall. He's building a wall. Said he was going to bring manufacturing back. Obama made fun of him. So what are you going to do? Wave a magic wand over it? Donald Trump is bringing manufacturing back. And Democrats are a little dismayed that a Gallup poll, which was released yesterday, shows that the vast majority of Americans do feel that they are better off under Donald Trump. Bum, ba-dum, bum. Now, the rub in that poll is that right now they don't feel better off. They do feel better off overall that when Donald Trump took over and that the changes he made and what it did to the economy was just a resonating boom that never happened under the Obama-Biden administration. And if I were Barack Obama, you know, silence sometimes is very telling. You know, Joe Biden is doing all these campaign appearances where he continually says that he was in charge of this and he did that and he did everything that Barack Obama takes credit for. Now that means one of two things. That Obama knows how bad of a job he did, and he knows that it won't pass the scrutiny test. Therefore, if Joe wants to take the hit and the credit, go for it, Joe. On the other hand, it has to be absolutely seething to him that what he's doing to the Obama legacy is basically saying that the black guy couldn't get it done without the white guy. Oh, did I just say it that way? Yes, I did. And I didn't stutter, stammer, and I don't have any second thoughts about saying it. That's exactly what Joe Biden is doing when he's out there taking all these victory laps, you know, that he, got through the Affordable Care Act, or I should say the Affordable Care Act, that he got through gay marriage, that he did this and he did that and he was in charge of this and he turned the economy around and he went after ISIS and he saved General Motors. What he's saying is the black guy was just the token. I was the guy brought in to really get the job done. Wow. Is Obama being quiet because the payback is now Kamala Harris? That she gets to be the one getting it done for the old white guy who's too senile to do it? It's just an interesting little thought train. I thought I'd take us down. But telling voters, you don't have a right to know. Telling voters that you are not going to tell them something important like, are you going to pack the court, is a little reminiscent of Nancy Botox Pelosi telling us, well, we'll have to pass the bill so you can find out what's in it. Have you ever taken any medication from a doctor and not asked what the side effects are? You take a medication, you ask, well, why are you giving me this? What do I need this for? What does it do? I was diagnosed with diabetes 2 years ago. I was given a prescription of metformin. And again, I have to put the disclaimer in here, I am not a doctor. But for me personally, within 3 days of being on it, it was affecting my vision. I couldn't see. Not without a pair of really, 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 really strong glasses. These are readers. My wife, a nurse, saw that I was being, I was toxing and got me off of it immediately. She had me drink this concoction she made to help me detox my system. And within a week, my vision cleared up. I haven't been on metformin. I'm not on any diabetic medication. I regulate my diet. I watch what I eat and drink, period. And I exercise. Now, that all said, why would we trust a bill that we don't know what's in it? So we see what a sham the Affordable Care Act was. And, Kamala Harris, the liar, again, she didn't actually ask Amy Coney Barrett any real questions. And by the way, if we want to get into technicalities, why is the opposing vice presidential candidate allowed to sit in on this hearing? Shouldn't she recuse herself for obvious reasons? I mean, we want to throw these little snitfits over all this kind of procedural crapola that the Democrats get all hung up on, only when they're out of power. When they're in power, Amy Coney Barrett would have already been confirmed and on the Supreme Court making decisions right now. It would have happened within a 48-hour cycle of, Ginsburg keeling over. I'm just saying that Amy Coney Barrett, had the Democrats been in charge of everything, before the funeral was done, before the body was cold and placed in the ground, Amy Coney Barrett would be on the bench right now, if that was their candidate. So all of this procedural, shell games that the Democrats love to play to try to drag this out, try to stall it, try to make it take forever, it's just smoke and mirrors. It's carnival show. But when Kamala said, this going to destroy the Affordable Care Act, that the Supreme Court is going to overturn it, well, first of all, that's grandstanding. And one Democratic senator after another continued this grandstanding of the Affordable Care Act. Wasn't the Affordable Care Act already decided? I mean, Justice Roberts gave you a gift when, for the first time ever in American history, the bench said it was constitutional to make American people buy something they didn't want. So, that said, they know it's a scam. They know that a real bench will overturn it as being completely fraudulent and unconstitutional. But here's a little side kicker that nobody in the media points out because either they don't want to or they're too stupid to have figured it out. Kamala Harris supports a one-payer tax or one-payer insurance, private complete across the board Medicare for all. You do realize if that happens, there'll be no more Obamacare. So while on the one hand she's chiding ACB, kind of like that, Amy Comey Barret, that her presence on the court will definitely guarantee the overturn of the Affordable Care Act, and millions of people will not have health insurance. But if Kamala gets her way and it becomes Medicare for all, there won't be any Affordable Care Act either. I hate to cloud the issue with facts. And speaking of facts, Eric Holder, the criminal attorney general under Barack Obama, who saw his job as being Barack's wingman. That's a direct quote. He was Barack's wingman. Funny. Attorney General Barr is constantly being vilified by the lying legacy corporate corrupt mainstream media and the demon cats as, simply they're doing Trump's bidding. Now, what he's doing is the constitutional job that he has been authorized to do. It was Eric Holder who was actually there just simply doing the bidding of Barack Obama. And Eric Holder and some other Democrats, including Kamala Harris, are out there giving a misdefinition of court packing. They're saying that right now Donald Trump is the one actually packing the court with, quote, conservatives. First of all, they are counting on the American electorate being stupid and not paying attention or knowing what court packing is. What Donald Trump is doing by having an opportunity to nominate a third justice of the Supreme Court is not court packing. That is within his constitutional duties. He's not changing the rules. He's not making something up. He's not adding something here that he doesn't have the authorization to do. Joe Biden, on the other hand, would take us from 9 Supreme Court justices to 10, 12, 15, 20, whatever, the FDR plan, which is just simply so pack it with so many liberals that, you can have your 5 or 6 or 8 conservatives on there. We got 20 liberals on there. But he would have to fundamentally change the court. He would have to add seats that are currently not there. The entire Supreme Court would have to be restructured. And they want that because these radical Democrats, these libloons, they want to radically change the country, and they know they can't get it done legislatively, though the American people will tolerate some change, and not all change is necessarily bad change. It does take a long time for change to happen, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. The framers of our Constitution designed our government to work that way. Gridlock is not always bad. It slows things down before you rush and make really bad decisions really quickly. What the Democrats want to do that they always want to do is, if you ever played a game with them, a board game, basketball in the driveway, whatever, just pick the Democrat. If they start to lose, they want to change the rules. That is how the Democrats always operate. They want to change the rules. When you hear Kamala Harris say, we can't be picking a Supreme Court justice right now, people are voting. Should they be? All of this early voting, when does voting start now? July the 5th? It's unbelievable. We used to have one election day in this country, November 3rd. If you were literally going to be out of your state, out of the country, you could request an absentee ballot. But all of this early voting, you understand that the Democrats would then, just seek to make sure that the entire year of an election year is voting. We'll start on January and we'll wrap it up in November. What? So, the games these people play at trying to constantly change and dilute the rules. So, court packing has nothing to do with Donald Trump having a third opportunity to appoint a Supreme Court justice. And there's a pretty good chance after his re-election, he'll get to pick a fourth. Bum, ba-dum, bum. That said, Joe Biden, 1983, he gave us a different opinion on court packing then.
President Roosevelt clearly had the right to send to the United States Senate and the United States Congress a proposal to pack the court. It was totally within his right to do that. He violated no law. He was legalistically absolutely correct, but it was a bonehead idea.
My oh my, how times have changed. Joe the Bonehead Biden now likes the boneheaded idea. By the way, I was calling him Bonehead when he was VP under Barack Obama. Those of you who are longtime listeners to my radio show know that I would always refer to him as Joe Bonehead Biden. Now I simply call him Joe Dementia Biden. So he went from being a bonehead to just, it's gone. Bye, see ya. I know, that's mean. That said, it is a boneheaded idea. But this is what the Democrats are tipping their hand that they're going to do. And whether or not Joe Biden answers the question or not is irrelevant. We know this is exactly what he's going to do. They cannot win legislatively. They cannot win at the ballot box. They have to cheat, lie to get there. And then once they're there, what, all of a sudden now they're going to play by the rules? No, nay. Now they're going to cheat, and cheat. And they are going to fundamentally change this country. I'm going to close this out today with Ted Cruz, who did some grandstanding of his own on Monday. But he was absolutely right in what he said. The Democrats were not using this opportunity to actually ask Amy Comey Barret any real questions. She's shrewd, though. She's shrewd. Dianne Frankenstein and some other Democrats today, they're trying to trip her up. They're trying to get her to admit that she will use her faith to decide cases like abortion, same-sex marriage. And Amy is cool. She has said she's all in. Her family looks great. They look stoic. You have liberal law professors saying, come on, Amy's a good choice. She's outstanding. Because what she's going to do, and this is the lie that the media tells you, it's another conservative judge. No. Nay. There's not supposed to be any such thing as a conservative judge or a liberal judge, although there are lots of liberal judges. It's supposed to be, do you or don't you follow the Constitution? Will you or won't you apply the law? And that's what she is being very steady and calm at saying, I will let the law determine in each individual case what is to be done. Boom. What more can you ask for? That said, Ted Cruz took the Democrats to the woodshed, and it was absolutely spot on, and we're going to finish this out with Ted.
Who in their right mind would want the United States of America ruled by 5 unelected lawyers wearing black robes? It's hard to think of a less democratic notion than unelected philosopher kings with life tenure decreeing rules for 330 million Americans. That is not, in fact, the court's job. The court's job is to decide cases according to the law and to leave policymaking to the elected legislatures. Now, look, that doesn't mean policymaking is unimportant. In fact, it means to the contrary. Policymaking is very important. And the people need to have a direct check on policymaking. You know what? If a rogue court implements policies you don't like, you, the American people, have very limited ability to check them. If a rogue Congress implements policies you don't like, you have a direct ability to check us by throwing the bums out and voting them out and voting in new representatives. You know, much of the argument this morning has concerned Obamacare. And they've been policy arguments. They're policy arguments that are actually occurring in the Senate, which is the right place for them to occur, a legislative body. But our Democratic colleagues simply want a promise from a judicial nominee that this nominee will work to implement their policy vision of health care. That is not a judge's job. Many of our colleagues talked about pre-existing conditions, and I think they have made a political decision. They want this to be the central issue of the confirmation. Well, remember this. Every single member of the Senate agrees that pre-existing conditions can and should be protected. Period. The end. There is complete unanimity on this. Now, it so happens that there are a number of us on the Republican side that also want to see premiums go down. Obamacare has caused premiums to skyrocket. The average family's premiums have risen over $5,000 a year. Millions of Americans can't afford health care because of the policy failures of Obamacare. Those questions should be resolved in this body, in the elected legislature. It's not a justice's job to do that. It's not the court's job to do that. It is the elected legislature's job to do that. Judge Barrett brings impeccable credentials, a judicial temperament, and a faithfulness to the law. That's what we should be looking for in Supreme Court justices. And if Democratic senators want to engage in policy arguments, they can do so here, not by filibustering every bill as they have done over and over and over again, whether it's pandemic relief or Obamacare relief to lower premiums and expand choices. To date, our Democratic colleagues filibuster everything and then complain nothing gets passed. This is the body that has to resolve those questions. This is also the body that, consistent with 2 centuries of precedent, can, should, and I believe will confirm Judge Barrett as Justice Barrett.